Welcome back to Doc's Off Topic. So, as you'll remember from the last video, we got this one faced off and we've done a little bit of lapping just to bring it back to a nice, smooth, more or less blemish-free surface. Now, these castings are a little bit gassy, so I'm going to have to look into getting some sodium hypochlorite for degassing. On the plus side, you don't use it very lot. But it is horribly bad for the environment, releasing chlorine gas, so 50-50. So now, the next job, and I've already got this mounted on the faceplate, is to machine the back so that we can put these two together and have a nice square fit. To that end, we'll be facing off these and just the inner portion of this just to get a nice smooth surface, because we do have running gear in there. So once we've got these faced off, we'll flip it and use them as the mounting furniture, and use basically the same bolts that I've got running through my packing to tie this to the faceplate. Once we've got that done, we'll take this off, mount this to the faceplate so that that surface there is square with the faceplate itself. And then we'll attach this one to that by drilling a couple of holes, which these will act as guides, into this, which we'll drill out to 6mm. Then we'll tap these for M6, bolt it together, and then we'll face off the top surface here before flipping the whole lot and doing the feet. Complicated? Not much. It's just a little bit tedious, so we'll try and cut out the boring bits as much as possible. So, let's get cracking. Okay, we're going to do this at a low speed. So, these are probably the worst interrupted cuts I've had to do. This is why I think coming handy. Oh, that seems a bit hard. Now we're only advancing a quarter of a millimeter. And of course, that's angle, which means that we're already really advancing an eighth of a millimeter. Because we've got so much overhang, because of those offsets, because of a fairly small manhole, you really are pushing the limits. So, I want to, so I have to go a little bit faster. Really want to. 3 feet. Probably one, we could probably get away with not having to do any more of that, to be honest. I'd rather not have to do any more at this distance from and on these supports. It's just so precarious. Let's figure out how we can reach the bottom there. Okay, so we've got it remounted. It's going to face off the boss, and then I'll face off the foot, and then we'll see about setting it up for the final operations. Maybe that cut was a little bit light. So, let's get it up in speed so we can get a better finish. Pretty good. good. So this should be our final pass. There we go, faced off. Finish isn't terrible, it's pretty good actually. So, now we've got to join the two. Okay, so we're going to do a light facing cut on the top here just to see what we've got. This is literally the biggest thing I can swing on here. I've got like 2 millimeters clearance. So, we're getting some pretty good surfaces. Shortly we'll be done, and then it'll be time to flip it over, but for that to happen we are going to have to drill and tap some holes in the top to strap it down. And I'm done for the day. I still feel this machine quite well. One more pass should see us done. There we go. Nice faced off surface. Alright, so we've down surface. Let's get ourselves enough movement. Should be our first pass. Now this is precarious. Much better done in a mill, to be honest. Or a shaper even. This is very nearly the biggest thing that you can turn in here. I have turned the live end of a rotary hoe in this lathe. That was 7 1/4 inches in diameter, and I had like a millimeter's clearance over the ways. That was touchy. Alright, so there's been a reasonable amount of chatter, which is really annoying. I'm taking a really light finishing cut, and then I'll be lapping this to get it as smooth and as flat as I can, because I'm just not liking that finish. And this is really pushing the limits of this lathe. Alright, so that's the foot surface, machined perpendicular to this surface. So this surface in here, which is the back plate. So the wheel and wheel lock will be mounted to this surface. So that gives us a reference. So this and this is 90, as is that plane there. And that gives us, with the mounting foot that we've taken off for this operation, the ability to also mount it as a rotary head, as a rotary table. Speaking of which, I now have to go and pick up a milling machine. So that's what I'm going to leave off. Okay, it's been a big day. So we have the first 3 castings fitted together, ready for the next step, which is to bore the central axis to get ready for fitting the wheel and the worm drive. That will give us our dividing increment, so it's a 1:40 base. But most of today has actually been spent getting this beastie into position. It's a Hercules Mod 0 Mark II horizontal milling machine. The manufacturer did make a vertical milling attachment for it. This one did not come with that. It's ex-high school machine shop. So it's seen a fair bit of use, but not heavy use. It does have a little bit of damage to the table. There's a few nicks and dings and a couple of little mill wanders. So there's going to be a little bit of lapping and scraping to get that serviceable. Next job is to get it leveled and bolted down and install the VFD, because it's 3-phase and this workshop is single phase. The VFD will give us 3-phase, so it will be relatively efficient. I say relatively, it's not all that efficient a system. But next video, boring and doing the wheel clamp brake, and possibly turning up the spindle, the spindle that the wheel will mount on. So there'll be a reasonable amount of turning, some of it will be interesting. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, hit the thumbs up, feel free to share on social media. And if you haven't already subscribed, I'd love it if you hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to grow this little channel to something that's a little more self-sustaining. So get out to your shop, have some fun, but do stay safe, and I'll catch you for the next one. So there's been a reasonable amount of chatter, which is really annoying. I'm taking a really light finishing cut, and then I'll be lapping this to get it as smooth and as flat as I can, because I'm just not liking that finish. And this is really pushing the limits of this lathe. Even with the lightest cuts. There's the chatter. Anyway, we're flat, so, but yeah, that finish is horrible. Essentially, that's a spring pass. It's not bad, but it's not great.